What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. In today's episode we're going to be taking a look at a goldfish farm in the Philippines. Now the original video hasn't been produced by me, I'm simply reacting to it on the channel. And if you do want to check out the original video by the original content creator, I'm going to put a little link down below. Now it's actually really dark at the moment, it's actually quite late at night, and I didn't actually have a video ready to go out on Wednesday, so I'm pushing through making this video for you guys. Now, if you're watching this just as the video comes out, I'm probably on my way back from Star Fisheries. So we've got a lot more content coming from Star Fisheries very, very soon. I haven't been there in around 3 months, so hopefully we're gonna have a lot more stock to look through and make some really good videos on some new fish that have come in on their 2024 shipments. So without further ado, let's check out this goldfish farm in the Philippines. We're going to see the farm setup and we're also going to have a close look at some of their fish. But let's check it out. So up first we have a Ranchu pond. Now you'll notice that all of the ponds in this video are concrete ponds. Now concrete ponds are really easy to maintain. They are very cheap to make. You don't have to be using any fiberglass or anything like that. They're nice and waterproof and they are really easy for these guys to clean. And you can see that all of the ponds in this farm are the same construction, they just vary slightly in size. Now you'll also see we have some blue PVC pipes running down the middle, and I'm going to be guessing or sort of trying to work out the layout of this farm and how it actually works. Obviously this video was not in my native language, so I do not fully, or I cannot understand what they are saying, so I am just coming up with my own personal views on this farm. Looks like we've got some Ranchu in this first pond that is on show here, and we actually have a blue standpipe in the middle of the pond. Now I believe that the standpipes are used to fully drain the ponds or potentially act as an overflow. Now it's hard to tell if this farm is run on a filtration system or a closed loop filtration system, but I don't believe it is. I believe that these fish are actually removed from the ponds. There is a 100% water change. The pond is then cleaned out, and those fish have gone into a fresh body of water, into some aged water. Now, obviously, having a luxury being able to use stream water or rainwater, the water quality is very, very good. Obviously in Europe, here over in the UK, we don't have very good quality water. There are a lot of contaminants like heavy metals and other things and other organic compounds contaminating our water, so unfortunately we don't have a super clean water. Obviously you can use rainwater, and using something like a natural spring or a stream water is going to be very, very good for our fancy goldfish. So having that luxury is really good for them. You can see obviously these are really cheap to run as well. We've only got an air stone running on the system, which is the only electricity input, just to make sure there is enough dissolved oxygen in the water, because obviously in the Philippines in the summer months it's going to get very, very warm. There's going to be a low oxygen saturation point, and that means that the fish are going to need plenty of oxygen if you want to continue to grow them and groom them at a nice rate. So you'll see throughout the video we are looking at some different fish, and we're actually going to get some Ranchu bowled up towards the end, or put in a viewing tank towards the end of the video, so it's going to be nice to see those. But here at the moment we have them in the top view. Now you can see we've got some Aranda as well, some really nice large Aranda in this pond here. You'll also notice that all of the stocking densities in the ponds are very, very low, so we do not have a huge number of fish, and this is very important if you're not running a filtration system. Now I believe this technique was potentially developed in Japan, where all of the water is removed from the pond is drained down, cleaned out, filled back up, and then the fish are moved back into it, and this goes in sort of rotation cycle. Now a lot of these ponds I assume don't have fish in because the water is either aging or they're filling back up, bringing up to temperature, ready for fish to move into them. Now this means you can grow your fish very, very quickly. Obviously you're only having to change water, you're not having to clean any filters or filtration systems, so it's super easy to run and set up. Now it looks like all of those blue PVC pipes with the red ball valves or the red handled valves are being used to fill up these ponds, saving them from lugging any buckets or containers around the farm. It means that the water transfer around the farm is very easy, and those standpipes can obviously just be removed and the water drains out of those ponds into that sort of runway or walkway, and then it can drain off the farm. Now, there are quite a few different varieties. I think this farm has some pearl scales, Ranchus and Aranda, those that I have actually seen in the video. And it's really interesting to see the different varieties and just the way that different farms are set up. Now, obviously, I'm doing my own narration over the top. Maybe I've got some things wrong, but I'm just trying to use my judgment and working out how this farm is run. We can see we've got some, looks like some shades over the top of the ponds. Now, I assume this is to stop a huge level of sunlight from hitting the ponds, warming them up very, very quickly, because you will notice that the ponds aren't full of water. They are probably a foot from the top, and there's probably only maybe 8 to 12 inches of water in these systems. Now, I believe having a shallow pond or shallow body of water is really good for fancy goldfish. It's not putting too much pressure on them. Obviously, there is a really large surface area for any CO2 to gas off and gas back in. And obviously, the temperature fluctuations in this pond aren't going to be too much in a larger body of water, rather than having them in smaller tanks as well. Now, we've obviously got some pearl scales. As you can see, he's just holding up a pearl scale here. So it's interesting to see they do different varieties of goldfish, and they're all kept in these same similar systems. Now, it would definitely be very interesting to know the sort of maintenance that they actually do on these, and whether the fish are potentially in this body of water for a week, or whether they are swapped out more often. We can see at the back of this shot, it looks like we have some water trickling in. So I'm wondering if this pond is filling back up after a large water change. Can't quite tell what fancies are in there. They look very small. Obviously, it is raining in the video, so it's quite hard to see, but potentially they are just young Ranchu. So I'm assuming they've probably done a large water change, and now that pond is filling back up, but I still haven't seen any sort of filtration system. Now, obviously, they could have the valves open slightly, water constantly filling up and providing a trickle in, trickle out system, which is really, really effective at keeping water quality nice and high, and it's also a low maintenance technique. Now, as we get towards the end of the video, the guys in the video are actually bowling or putting some of these fish in the viewing tank, and we can see first up we have a really stunning red Ranchu. Really nice wen to this fish. We've got the nice bubbles to the side of the face, which I would say is more of the Thai style or buffalo style Ranchu. It does have a very extreme peduncle bend, or a very extreme curve in the peduncle, I should probably say, towards that caudal fin. Same with the second fish as well. This is more of a yellowish colour, still would be classed as an orange or red Ranchu, but you can see they've got really, really large pronounced wen shape on these fish, but they definitely have a sort of shorter body. The calico just gone in, I would say, has a little bit more of a better back, something a little bit more desirable, and what I would like to see. It's got a really nice face to it as well. I would say the calico, in my opinion, has the best body shape, but obviously there are different styles of fish and different body types of these fish that are grown in different bloodlines, so it is interesting to see how different farms grow their fish, also how the wens look on the different farms using different parent stock, and also the body shapes as well. So I always find it interesting to see how different farms are set up, how they're functioning, and the sort of style and type of fish they are producing. Some really, really nice Ranchu in the viewing tank. Really nice to see this farm. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you want to check out the full video and the original video, that is actually going to be down below. Very, very nice fish. You can see that is a very large fish, probably pushing 6 inches or so. Really, really nice quality fish. But that is coming to the end of the video footage. Hopefully you've enjoyed this walk around tour of this farm and this facility, and I found it interesting to see how it's been laid out and how the system has been produced in the Philippines. So that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please let me know down below. Apologies it wasn't that long of a video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it and it was interesting to see the different farm layouts compared to some of the previous videos we've looked at, and look at some of their fish in general. If you do have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. And as always, thank you all for watching. Remember to keep this water changes up, and happy fish keeping.